So I sent the presentation in the WhatsApp group. You can check that. Right. So also I'm sharing some mind maps related to this standard. So check the WhatsApp for the mind map and the presentation. So let's start with LKS 8. Okay. So this is the summary on LKS 8. LKS 8 is the accounting standard number 8 is on three main areas: accounting policies, accounting estimates, and the errors. Accounting policies, accounting estimates, and accounting errors. Right? So first we need to understand what is meant by an accounting policy. Right? So the better you write this, draw this mind map related to the standard. Okay. So what is an accounting policy? Accounting policy is the principles, specific principles, bases, conventions, rules and practices, right? Basic accounting principles adapted by a business. It's called accounting policy. Accounting policy. Okay. Right. So one of the main example for accounting policy is the inventory policy. Right. Whether we are valuing the inventory at first in first out method or weighted average cost method. First in first out method or weighted average cost method. Right. That is a policy. Right. And also we can take valuing a fixed asset or valuation of investments. Then valuing an asset, historical cost or the current cost. Right? So these are accounting policies. Okay. So these are the basic principles. Right? Then there is another part, accounting estimate. Accounting estimates. Estimates adjusting the value, adjustments to the carrying value of an asset or liability. Right? Example is useful lifetime of an asset. Adjusting the useful lifetime. Assume that we have a motor vehicle. The useful life of the motor vehicle is 4 years. Right? After using for 2 years, you think that you can use another 2 years extra. So the useful life is changing. Right? Warranty estimates, net realizable value calculation. Right? So if there is an accounting policy change, if there is a change in accounting policy or an accounting estimate, how do you adjust this in your financial statement? That is what we are going to learn from this accounting standard. Right? Remember, it's very simple. If there is an accounting policy change, right, from first in first out method to weighted average cost method, if you are changing the policy, then we have to adapt the change past, present, and future. Right? You need to change the previous financial statements. You have to change previous financial statements, the values, the net profit will be changed. Present, the current year financial statement will be adjusted for the change, and the future. Right? So that is called retrospective application of the change. Retrospective application means we change the previous financial statements, current financial statement, and the future. Retrospective application. So when do you use retrospective application? When there is an accounting policy change. Right? If the accounting estimate is changed, useful life of the asset is changed, then we don't change previous year accounts. We have to change only current year and future. Present and future only. If the accounting estimate is changed, you change only present and future, not past. This is called prospective application. Prospect. Right? Retrospective means past, present, future. Prospective means only present and future. Right? And if the previous year is changed, if the previous year financial statements are changed, we call that retrospective restatement. You restate previous year financial statement. So that comes under retrospective application. When you do the retrospective application, when you change the past financials, past or previous year financial statement. That statement, the financial statements are called retrospective restatement. You restate the financial statement. Okay, so that is about accounting policy, accounting estimate, retrospective application, retrospective restatement, and prospective application. Then the third point is accounting errors. If there is any error, like what is an error? Error means omission or misstatements in the prior period. Previous year, there is an omission or misstatement. Then what you do, you have to change the previous year financial statement. That is also, you follow the retrospective application. Is it clear? This is what you need, nothing else. This is the overall picture about the LKS 8. Is it clear? Afra? Zahra? Sanoha? Is it clear? Let me explain again. Okay. Now, in LKS 8, there are three main areas. Accounting policy, accounting estimate, and errors. What is accounting policy? Accounting policy means the basic accounting principles, convention, rules, and practices. So if there is an accounting policy is changed, when the accounting policy is changed, we have to change or we have to adjust the change for previous year, current year, and future. It is called retrospective application. You are applying the accounting policy as it was there for previous year. Retrospective application. When you apply that, we call the statement as retrospective restatement. Accounting estimate change. If the accounting estimate is changed, useful life of the asset, warranty estimate, or the net realizable value is changed, we don't change the previous year. We will change only current year and future. That is called prospective application. Then if there are errors, previous year errors, you have to change the previous year financial statements as well. So that is, errors are also retrospective applications. Right? So let me explain the definitions for each. So the objective of this standard is, there are three main areas: changes in accounting policy, changes in accounting estimates, and correction of errors. So what is an accounting policy? It is specific principles, bases, conventions, rules, and practices. These are definitions. Right? Accounting estimate is, as I said earlier, it's the carrying amount of an asset. Adjustment to the carrying amount of an asset or a liability. Right? Then there is another definition, material. What is meant by material? Material means importance. Material means important information. If any information is affecting the decisions, those are material information. Right? If any information is affecting the decision of a stakeholder, the decision of a shareholder, that is a material information. If the information is not material, we call it immaterial. So those immaterial information, you don't prioritize that. You can record them as a total or aggregation. But material information you have to show separately in the financial statements. Material. Prior period errors means these are omissions, misstatements. Right? retrospective application and retrospective restatement. Retrospective application means applying the new accounting policy. New accounting policy. If there is a change in the new accounting policy, right, transactions, other events and conditions, as if that policy had always been applied. You assume that already it has applied in the previous year. So previous year also you change, current year also you are changing, future also you have to change. Then retrospective restatement. Restatement means correcting the recognition, measurement and disclosure for previous year statements as well. Restate. Financial statements will be changed. The prior period error had never occurred. Right? Okay. Yeah. So those are the main areas. Now let's do. If you understand this, it's more than enough. You can answer for the questions. Right? So let's do a question. Right? So let's do this question. The finance manager of Gitme Limited has found the following incidents occurred during the year ended 31st March 2019. Gitme Limited had introduced a new accounting system, SAP B1, with effect from 1st April 2018. An accounting policy, right? When you are reading itself, you highlight the important points. Accounting policy of valuing inventory has been changed at that date. Up to 31st, the company had valued the inventory at first in, first out. As per the new accounting system, inventory is to be valued at weighted average cost. So previously valued at first in, first out, now valuing at weighted average cost. It was noticed that stock have been overvalued by 6.7 million than stock value shown in the financial statements as at 31st March 2018 due to the change in accounting policy of the inventory valuation. Explain the impact of the above two incidents. What is the impact? So it's an accounting policy change. If there is an accounting policy change, what do you do? Read again and tell me what do we do? It's a retrospective restatement. Yes. Great. So that's correct, Abhinav. We should use retrospective application. Right. So yes, that's correct. Retrospective restatement. So when you are writing the answer, you can write like this. I'll show you how to write the answer. So the question. This is the question. So in accordance with LKS 37, this is LKS 8. So this is a change in accounting policy, right? In accordance with LKS 8, this is a policy change. So they are telling me this is a policy change, accounting policy. Accordingly, this should be adjusted through a retrospective restatement. So you need to mention this retrospective restatement by adjusting the comparative figure 2017-18 and the earliest period reported. So previous year financial statement you have to change, including the retained earnings. When the stock have been overstated. If the stock is overstated, that means the closing stock is overstated, then cost of sales, what will happen to the cost of sales? Cost of sales was understated, so the profit has been overstated, right? If the closing stock is over, your profit also is over. So you have to change previous year profit. So therefore, GITMI Limited should adjust 31st March 2018 financial statement by reducing its closing inventory, because closing inventory is over. So you have to reduce the closing inventory, also retained earnings by 6.7 million. And this will also affect financial statements of opening inventories and the profit 2018-19. So 2017-18 also you have to change. 2018-19 also we have to change. So it's an accounting policy change. So if there is a policy change, what you do is this retrospective restatement. Then the second one, part B. Let me take it separately. Let me notice this. Assistant accountant of GITMI Limited has failed to account for depreciation in last financial year. Not accounted for depreciation. Failed to account. In respect of office equipment 500,000 acquired on 31st December 2017. The company depreciates office equipment at cost. Useful life 5 years. So what is this? Is it a policy change or a estimate or error? What is it? Tell me whether it's a policy, estimate or error. Yeah, Ushant, you are right. It's a omission. It's a omission means it's error. Right? Others, Acacia, it's not an estimate. Kavindu, it is not an estimate change. Right? It is not an estimate change. It's an error, not recorded. It's an error. So if there is an error, again, it's retrospective. It's not prospective. it is error. Okay, so we have to write the answer as this is an accounting error in accordance with LK said. Now, estimate means previously your useful lifetime is 5 years. Now the useful lifetime is 4 years or 8 years. It is a change in estimate. This is a new asset you are purchasing, but not depreciate. It's an omission. Okay. So you have to answer like this. In accordance with this is an error. Retrospective application should be as follows. So you calculate the depreciation 500,000 divided by 5, and since this was purchased on 31st December 2017, our year end is 31st March 2018. So 3 months you have to depreciate. You have to depreciate only 3 months. So 3 months depreciation is 25,000. So you calculate 3 months depreciation and you have to adjust it as retrospective application and retrospective restatement. Retrospective restatement by adjusting the retained earnings of the year in which the error occurred. So net asset value will reduce by 25,000. Retained earnings will reduce by 25,000. So double entry. Expense account debit. Expense account debit means the retained earnings will reduce. And asset in office equipment you have to credit provision for depreciation. So that's how you require. Right? Let's do another question. Right. Can I have the answer to this? The following information has been given in relation to SRL Limited 31st March 2018. The company has reviewed the useful life of plant and machinery on 1st of April 2017. As per the review, it was decided to change the useful lifetime from 3 years to 8 years. Cost and accumulated depreciation of plant and machinery is 800,000 and 3.2 million. 8 million and 3.2 million. Explain the accounting treatment. So it's very simple. This is accounting estimate. So prospective application. So yeah, Afra and Nushant, that's right. So it's an accounting estimate and prospective application, but you have to mention, you have to say how much is the depreciation, how does it affect the financial statements, right? So let me explain the calculation. So you have to calculate now. Let's say this is our financial year. Earlier, it was assumed that the useful life was 3 years. If the cost is 800,000, if you depreciate 3 years, first of April 2017, $800,000 divided by 8,000 divided by 3 is 2.6. So somehow they have used 1st of April 2017. The cost is 8,000 or 8 million. Accumulated depreciation is 3,200. Now they are changing the useful life. Now remaining useful life, it was 3 years. The company, yeah. So it was remaining useful life 3 years. Year 1, year 2, year 3. But after the review, they assumed that it is not 3 years, it's 8 years. They can remaining vehicle, remaining useful lifetime is increased by another 5 years. Extra 5 years can be used. Right? Then what is the, can you all tell me how much is the depreciation charge for the year ended 31st March 2018? Depreciation for 2018. How much? Right. So depreciation, how much is the depreciation? So depreciation is calculated by taking the net asset, net value. Net value means 8,000 minus 3,200. It's 800 and 4,800. That is the net value, the remaining value of the asset, the plant. So this can be used another 8 years. So the depreciation will be 4,800 divided by 8. So that is 600,000. So for the current year, we have to depreciate only 600,000. Because the remaining value can be used for another 8 years. So you don't change previous year, you change only current year and future. Right, so I hope you all understood the basics of case 8. So if you remember that summary, that is more than enough. Let me show you the answer. So this is the answer. Change in useful life of plant and machinery is considered as a change in accounting estimate. So first you tell uh, what is it? Is it a policy, estimate, or an error? That's the first step. Then you tell what is the adjustment. The cost is 8,000, 8 million, accumulated depreciation. Then the carrying value is 4,800,000. So this will be depreciated over 8 years. So annual depreciation is 600,000. So for the year ended 31st March 2018, 600,000 should be charged as the depreciation. You have to mention. So there are some other questions. I want you to do that as a homework. Let's do one more MCQ question. This I took from chartered paper. Tell me the answer for this. The following are some instances where companies would consider changing their accounting policies. Which of the above instances are acceptable according to LKS 8? What is the answer? Acceptable. Yeah. So Shant, going to correct. Answer D. The change in accounting policy is required by the LKS Sri Lanka accounting standards. And the change in accounting policy will result in providing more relevant and reliable information. The remaining two won't come. This is wrong and this is wrong. Number one says the change in accounting policy will result in increase in the current year profit, which facilitates higher benefit to the management. No, not always. It can increase or decrease depending on the change. Change in the policy is made to boost the statement of financial position of the current year with the objective to attract more investments. No, that is not the objective. Okay. So I hope that is clear. Let's move on to next standard. Right. So moving to the next standard, let's do LKS 37. That was I have said. So this is with the summary. So LKS 37 discuss about three major areas. LKS 37 discuss about three major areas: provisions, contingent liabilities, contingent assets. Sorry, I couldn't share the screen. Case 37 discusses three areas: provisions, contingent liabilities, and contingent assets. So what is a provision? So before the provision, let's understand what is meant by a liability. Liability means it's a present obligation the liability definition must change. Its definition to change. Right. So this is the new definition. It's a present obligation of an entity to transfer economic resource as a result of past event. So there are three major points that you need to know. So when you are defining a liability, you have to mention these three characteristics. It's a present obligation, transfer of economic resources, and result of past events. Obligation. What is an obligation? It's a duty or a responsibility that you can't avoid. No practical ability to avoid. That is obligation. So provision means it's a liability of uncertain timing and amount. So it is also a liability, but you don't know when will happen, how much will it cost. Example, warranty provision. Warranty. Now let's say we have a company, this is Singer. Singer sell laptop to the customers. Right? They sell 1,000 laptops, giving 1 year warranty. 1 year warranty. So within 1 year, if something happens to the laptop, you can claim the warranty. You can give it to repair. Right? So out of 1,000, when Singer is selling, they don't know how many laptops will come for the repair. But there will be a repairing cost for that. Repairing cost. Okay. So, but they know that some laptops will come for the repair. But but timing is not sure. When it will come and how much will it cost is not sure. So provision means it's a liability of uncertain timing or amount. So we have to recognize it as an expense. It's a future expense. Future expense should be recognized. Can someone tell me what is the accounting concept? Future expenses will be recognized as an expense, recognized in the financial statement. Based on what concept? Based on what accounting concept? Future expenses are recognized, should be recognized based on which accounting concept? Yes, Sushant, that's prudence concept. Prudence. So prudence concept. Yes, that's correct. So provision will be recognized in the financial statements. Right. So let's see the overall summary. Provision. Provision means it's a liability of uncertain timing or amount. Examples. Remember warranty provision. Remember one or two examples. From the example, you will understand what is the concept. Provision for income tax. Future income tax. Right. So this will be recognized in the financial statements. This will be recognized in the financial statements. Right. Provision. Then we have contingent liabilities. Contingent liabilities means it is a possible obligation. It's a possible. It can happen or it cannot happen. Right? But the occurrence or non-occurrence of uncertain future events not controlled by the organization. Whether it happens or not. Whether it happens or not is decided by third party. There is no control for the company. Company can't control. For an example, so you take this from the example. Okay, pending court case. Let's say we are selling some goods to the customer. This customer. Let's say we are selling a face cream. Face cream. Facial. So after selling, the customer used it and something happens to her face. Right? Then she filed a case against the company in the courts, right? Asking for 5 million remedy, claiming 5 million. So it's a pending, still the judgment is pending, right? So it's a possible obligation. Sometimes you might have to pay, sometimes you might not pay, not have to pay. So who is deciding this? The judge. So is it with our control? No, it's not under our control. Right? So third party is controlled. These are called contingent liabilities. Contingent liabilities. Right? Not under our control. අපේ control එකේ නැහැ. වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් නොවෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Decision එක තීරණය කරන්නේ තුන්වන පාර්ශවය. ව්‍යාපාරය නෙමෙයි. Not the business. Right? So decision is decided by the third party, which is not under the control of the organization. These are called contingent liabilities, and remember, contingent liabilities are not recognized in the financial statements. Not recognized. But if any outflow of resources are probable, if you think, right, 5 million, if it is, you have some, you know, idea that whether you will have to pay, then you can disclose. You can disclose in the financial statement. There is a pending court case. This case was of 5 million. You mentioned all the details. So provisions will be recognized. Contingent liabilities are not recognized in the financial statements. It's clear? Any doubts? And moving to contingent asset. Contingent assets also same. It's a possible asset, uncertain event not controlled by the organization. So one of the main example is the compensation for land acquired by the Road Development Authority, RDA. I'll tell you an example. Now, one of my uncle had a land, right? This is a land. And the RDA wanted to expand the road, or this was the road. They want to expand the road. So they took the land, part of the land. Part of the land was taken, acquired by the Road Development Authority. And for this part of the land, there is a compensation that the RDA should pay to my uncle, right? So that was in 2001. Acquisition was done on 2001. Actually, the compensation was given last year, not last year, 2019, right? It was about in Perch. Right? So he got about 300,000 or something. So the amount was not sure. He doesn't know the amount, right? And the amount was decided by the Road Development Authority. Right? It is not under the control of us, third party company. Right? You don't know whether they will pay or not, how much will they pay, not sure. Right? But the actual value is very high. Right? So remember, it's a possible asset, arises from the past event, whose existence will be confirmed only on the occurrence or non-occurrence of uncertain future events not controlled by the organization. So this is also not recognized in the financial statement, but you can disclose if any inflow of resources are probable. This is LKS 37. So this is what you need to remember. What is the provision? Provisions will be recognized in the financial statements. What is contingent liabilities and assets? Those are not recognized in the financial statement, but you can disclose. So recognition of a provision. So let's do this example. This is also the continuation of the previous question with me limited.
The following information is also provided with reference to GIFMI Limited. An assessment has been sent by Department of Inland Revenue for value added tax assessment on VAT, disallowing 1.5 million of input tax. There were so many discussions with Department of Inland Revenue on this. The final decision has been received on 2nd April to disallow 1 million. So they said disallowing 1.5 million. The final decision was given. Is it a provision or a contingent liability? I only need that. Is it a provision or a contingent liability? Right. So Asia, Kavilu, Shant, contingent liability means pending decision. Is the decision pending? Decision is given. Final decision has been received on 2nd of April. If the final decision has been given, you have to make a provision. Right? Contingent, it will be a contingent liability only if the decision is pending. If the decision is pending, then it's a contingent liability. If the final decision is given, then it becomes a provision. And you have to make 1 million provision. Is it clear? Well, okay? So this is how you write the answer. In accordance with LKS 37, this is a provision. Right? So there is an obligation, present obligation. It arises from the past event. You can write the 3 characteristics I told. If there is a liability or a provision, you have to mention those 3 characteristics. And you can estimate the amount. So at the beginning, company claimed 1.5 million, but Inland Revenue IRD means Inland Revenue Department disallowed 1 million. So this adjustment is to be made in the same year. So a VAT liability of 1 million should be provided. So we have to make another 1 million as a liability. So mainly remember it's a provision. That is what you need. And the second part. Tell me answer for this. A competitor has filed a legal case against GIFMI Limited. Competitor filed a legal case regarding the advertisement published insulting the competitor's product. insulting the company. Most of the companies, they used to, advertise insulting the competitor, insulting the products, other products, right? You can Google and YouTube. In YouTube, you can see Pepsi and Coca-Cola advertisement. Right? The compensation claim is 50 million. And up to the date of authorization of the financial statement, the company lawyers have advised that it is probable the company will not be found liable. Now, what is this? Is it a provision or a liability? Contingent liability. If the decision is given, that is what you need to see. So, yes. The contingent liability. Sharing that upfront. Right. So it's a contingent liability because the decision is not given. So according to LKS 37, this is a contingent liability. Even though the legal case was filed, the lawyers has confirmed that the company will not require to pay such penalty. This payment is very remote, right? So they can disclose the fact in the financial statement, just a note. So it's a contingent liability. Okay. So tell me the answer for this. There are 3 transactions. Explain how each of the above instances could be recognized in the financial statements for the year ended 31st March. Let's read and tell you.
So we will check the answer.
First one is the entity sells goods with warranty, under which customers are covered for the cost of repairs of any manufacturing defects that becomes apparent within first 6 months after purchase. The entity's past experience indicates that 2% of sales has to be paid as repair cost for warranties, and sales of 30 million were recorded for the year ended 31st March 2018. Assume that sales are distributed evenly throughout the year. So what is this? So most of you have given the answer. It is a provision. So number one is provision. Yes. So almost everyone has given the answer provision. Right. So that's the main example which we take for the provision, explanation of provision. We take the main example as warranty provision. Can you tell me how much provision we should make in the financial statement? What is the value of warranty provision? What is the expense? What is the value? Very simple calculation. Out of 30 million, how much? 2%. 3 million, 30 million into 2% is 600,000. 0.6 million is 600,000. So that provision we have to make in the financial statement. Number two, there was an assessment raised by the Department of Inland Revenue on the income tax of 2.5 million on a disallowed portion of an expense incurred in the year of assessment 2015-16. So anyway, when we do the company final accounts, I will be explaining the taxation part. Right. After sending several replies and correspondence with reference to the expense, the Tax Appeals Commission had finalized it as 2 million. This had not been incorporated in the financial statement. So as I said in the previous example, if it is finalized, then it's a provision. Right. So here, it's a provision. It's finalized, it's a provision. So second one is provision, not a contingent liability. This is provision. This is provision. Third one. The company has dismissed an employee due to fraud, due to a fraud committed by him. An employee has filed a case in courts against the company. Up to the date of authorization of the financial statement, the entity's lawyer have advised that it is probable that entity will not be liable. So decision is still pending, but the lawyers are telling company will not be liable. There is no possible obligation. Right? So this is a contingent liability. So you can see how the questions are checked. Right? So here, number one is provision will be made for 600,000. Number two, this is a provision, 2 million will be recognized. Number three is contingent liability. Now let's do MCQ. Disclosure requirement. What do you disclose? So this I did next time, but from this example, I can from this question I can tell you what we disclose. So if there is a contingent liability, there is a contingent liability, what are the things that we need to disclose? Out of these four. Really awesome. AC. Now, brief description on and its nature that we have to disclose. Right? An estimate of the financial effect. Yes, that is what we estimate the legal pending court case. How much is the value we disclose? Indication of the uncertainties relating to the amount or timing of any outflow. That is also, yes, we need to disclose. Uncertainty, if it is not sure. This is also yes. Additional provision made during the year. So contingent liability means no, there is no provisions. So there is no additional provision for a contingent liability. Contingent liability means it's not sure. Still, the decision is pending. The court case is still pending. Right? So no additional provision. So answer A. Answer A. Right? So there are some other questions that we'll do one more question. Tell me the answer to this. You only need the basic overall knowledge or overall picture about what is a provision, what is a contingent liability, contingent asset. That's the answer to this. Which of the following is true? Right. So answer. I'm getting answer D, C, B. Okay, so just one is true. D has a liability of uncertain timing on. No, there is no liability. This is fine. D has a present obligation to pay damages as a result of sale of goods. There is no present obligation. Present obligation means it's a liability. D has a contingent liability which needs to be disclosed. Yes, it's a contingent liability, legal case. It is unclear whether he has to pay damages. This is a contingent liability. That is, D does not have to disclose any information as it is uncertain as whether the company has to pay damages. No, you have to disclose. So at the beginning itself, I told it is a contingent liability, and you have to disclose. Is it clear? You all can do the remaining questions. And if you all have doubts, you can ask me. Are you all okay with the two standards? Right. Let me do another one more. Right. We'll do one more standard. It's a small standard, right? Don't worry. We can teach you another 15 minutes. Another 15 minutes. Events after the reporting period. That is the standard. Events after the reporting period. It is LKS 10. A very small standard, but there are a lot of questions on this. So every year there are questions on this standard. So events after the reporting date. That means now this is our financial year. 1st April 2019 to 31st March 2020. Right? Beginning date of the accounting period, closing date of the accounting period. Right? So after end of the period to the date where the financial statements are authorized by the directors, by the board of directors. So assume that this is not the exact date, but mostly it will take about maybe 3-4 months, 5 months or 6 months then, right? Until the financial statements are authorized to publish. During that period, if something happens, we call it, those are events after the reporting period. From 31st March 2020 to 30th September 2020. That means from the closing date of the financial year to financial statements authorization date, authorized by the board of directors. So if something happens during this period, we call it its events after the reporting period. And out of these events, there are some events we will adjust. We call it adjusting events. And also there are some events we do not adjust. So what are the adjusting events? Adjusting events are if the event provides evidence to the situation at the end of the reporting period. Let's say we had a closing stock. If something happened to the closing stock during this period, that is an adjusting event. Let's say the NRV of the net realizable value of the stock is reducing, that is an adjusting event. Or we had a debtor, he is dead, or he is bankrupted. We had a debtor, Mr. Amar, 30th, 31st March. He is bankrupted during the before the authorization date. So we have to write off his amount as bad debt. Court judgment is given. There was a pending court case. Pending court case is a contingent liability. But if the final decision was given, then it becomes a provision. So you have to make a liability. So it's an adjusting event. In another example, we can say impairment loss of an asset. Remember these key examples because questions will be given based on these examples only. Right? Nothing to think. You can directly write the answer. So I have given 4 main examples for adjusting events. NRV, bad debt, judgment for the court case, impairment loss of an asset. Non-adjusting events, dividend proposed for ordinary shares. If the company is making or providing ordinary share dividend, right? So that is not adjusted. It's only a disclosure. Only disclose. Decrease in market value of investment. Natural disaster, fire, flood, tsunami, or any natural disasters. That is, we don't adjust it in the previous year. We adjust it in the year which happened. Exchange rate losses. These are examples for non-adjusting events. Remember the examples, that is more than enough. Right. So let me do a question. I'm unable to find the question now. I'll share some of the questions. I can do that. Okay, so I'll share some of the questions for you all to try. Okay, so we were able to do 3 standards today. In case 8, 10, and 37. Right. So what we will do is in the next class, I am thinking to start. I'm thinking to start the company final accounts. So we will do the company final accounts in the next class, Thursday. Right? So Thursday I will be doing company accounts. Right. Right. Any other questions? So we conclude the session today, and thank you. I'll see you on Thursday. Okay. So take care and good night.